Are you in need of some ideas for your next project? Today, I invited a web designer from our community, Amy Calosa. We are geeking out about some websites, we're showing you why we like them, and hopefully giving you a little bit of inspiration for your next project. Hi, Amy. Thank you for taking a little bit of your time to chat with us today. I am very excited about this chat because we're going to be evaluating some really cool websites and giving some insight on their design, the aesthetics, and what they're doing that is really cool and very niche in the websites that we're going to be talking about today. But normally we first take a step back and we kind of like ask you to present yourself so viewers know you better, and we want to know like a little bit about you and what you have done and what got you in this career path. So I will hand off the mic to you.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me. I'm super excited to nerd out a bit and talk websites with you. So obviously I'm a web designer and developer from New York, and I help passionate small business owners stand out with creative design and code solutions. That's kind of the nutshell what I do. A little bit from my background, I started as a more like general graphic designer. I taught myself how to code when I was in high school, just like reading
Awesome.
books and MySpace and all that good stuff. And at the time, yeah, at the time, web design was like pretty up and coming. Like there wasn't any there wasn't a lot of online courses and like code school. So I'm like so glad that those things exist now for people. So when I went on to study interactive digital design, it was called. Then I went on to work in-house and at agencies. And before becoming a freelancer, like along the way, I just realized I loved building sites as much as designing them. And here we are.
So awesome because like literally I was talking this like the other night. We are literally all coders. We started coding MySpace. We look for CSS coding to put the letters beautiful and to kind of like organize things. And it's so funny because now people like see it as this like thing that is, oh my god, I'm coding a website. I'm like, do you remember you were on like MySpace, like taking
Right.
coding? At least it was CSS, but everyone was doing it. So
Right.
that's super cool story from you that you started literally on MySpace. Is that thing that kind of like inspired you to go there? That was super fun. So
Yep.
that's the there's that I really think about website design as your house online. It's kind of like because you have Instagram, you have Facebook, yes, you have social, you have all these platforms, but you don't own the platform. Your website, in the other hand, it's literally your house. It's where you are going to send everyone from all the other platforms that you are to that specific house. And when you want people to come to your house, you want to give like a good impression of what's your style or what's the vibe of your house. And I do think that websites are literally the exact same thing. It's that thing that is going to tell everyone what you do, how you do it, and what's the style of your style ethics and all of those things included in there. I was reading an article also that it says that there are six criteria elements that you should look at when you're evaluating a website. And those are like authority, accuracy, objectivity, currency, coverage, and appearance. But in my experience as a marketer, I think that those rules need to be bent a little bit to connect with your real audience. So yes, there's a rules, there are things that you should take a look at, but at the same time, there's rules that you should bend. And the websites that we're evaluating today are far from following the six criteria elements in some way, but they're very good at connecting with their audience. So I think if we want to start right away, so we can talk about these three websites that we're going to be talking about today. So let's geek out, let's enter to it. The first
Awesome.
website is Day Job, a small full service studio, and it's so cool. I read from the website there are a company of writers and designers and developers offering like multidisciplinary creative services in exchange of money. And that's literally their about us. It's the website. It's
I
so
missed
good.
that part. That's amazing.
They're so cool. And then also they kind of like say, oh, if you want to give us equity, then we can accept that too. The basis. So it was really, this website is really funny. But just in your experience, what do you think are the things that you love about day job, a small full service studio?
Yeah, I absolutely love this site. It's definitely a risk to kind of go in this really retro minimalist direction, but it really works. And they have a lot of just fun extras. Like they could have made this a lot more simpler to kind of go with that quirky vibe, but they really didn't. They really kind of pulled out all the stops here. So I think that's what makes it unique. And I'm a sucker for a good throwback. So
I think one of the things that are, I think on a world where as humans we overcomplicate everything, I think this website is a refresher. And I think it hits very well with the target audience since they work with corporate and specific businesses that have like investors. And let's be real, they are a little bit more, they have seen how internet has come from this retro era to what the internet is now. When I entered this website, it was so natural to me to kind of like look where things were, knowing that it was so retro. But at the same time, it was very easy to find everything. So I think they did a really good job into taking you out of your comfort zone in some way, but putting you in another era. It's a really cool website. But like literally, I just think it's I love it. It's one of my favorite websites right now.
absolutely. And you're so right with it's easy to use because they also have that start bar. So they have multiple options to get to everything.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
it just makes sense what everything is called and navigating it. I love this page. The little pixel effect just takes it to the next level.
Yes, I think they're really good at what they do. And one of the things that I really love about is that they say that they're a small service studio, but that they kind of like don't like to do strategy, and that's what they do it. And you're like, we don't
Yeah.
like trends. That's why we do it. That's what we're good at it. And I'm like, wait, what? So that they're very good at it. They're very good at what they do, and all the projects and all the other websites that they have done are really great. So they decided to have a website that is very simple, but that when you see their work, they don't do simple work. Their work is very complex. And if you have seen the first episode of our channel, we talked about a little bit about Recess, which is like one of the companies that they did the website for,
Love
and we
that
showed
one.
the. So if you go to the first episode, you're going to see a little bit about one of their clients.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? That kind of shows in a way that, we focus on our clients. Like we're not spending all this time nitpicking our own website and changing it all the time. So I think that's a really valuable thing to show their clients.
Definitely, definitely. Another thing that I really like is the README, which is kind of like their about, and they don't even have pictures of themselves. Mostly are very weird pictures, which it was kind of like the trend when you were on that era. It was
Yep.
not using normal name or your normal picture. That was kind of like the way of going when creating like profiles on that time. So it's a really cool website. I think it has really good responsiveness. The mobile version is amazing. I do think that mobile version is super cool. I thought that it was not going to be that responsive as you said, and it's a really great version.
Yep. Yep. Because this is, an old school design, so you wouldn't expect the mobile version to be just as good.
Correct. There was no mobile versions at that
Yeah.
time, so they really take you to the era.
Yeah, it's a whole experience. I think that's my favorite thing about the site. You're like transported in this world, similar to the
Yeah.
other site we're going to talk about too. And the fact that they just added that screensaver that showed up when we first went to it, like just another extra, just to
Yeah.
remind you, yeah, this is where you are.
That's super cool. I do think that the last thing that I will mention is the Easter egg about having Doom on the website. and you can literally play the game. That blew my mind away. Like, this is amazing. Have the game. These people, like a round of applause for these people. They're really good.
Amazing. So
They're
amazing. Such a good find.
such a great find. So if you haven't visited, please visit Day Job. This is not an ad. Just to put it out there, it's not an ad. They're really good, and we love them. So let's go to our second website,
Awesome.
which is it's quite easy. And I do think that they're really, really cool. This is one of the coolest websites that I have seen. One of the first things that I really love is the layers. It has so many layers on it and so many responsiveness that is so cool to play with and to kind of like see the experience. But in your experience, what do you love about this website? Tell us a little bit about it.
I love so many things about the site. It's another just fun website, but in a totally different way. It kind of has a mix of modern and retroness. I love the big, bold type. I think all the playfulness really goes with their company and what they're doing. The marquee, something that I noticed is those marquees that they have. That's like a super big trend right now, but they do it in such a different way that I'm like, yes, yes, thank you. And so many fun scrolling sections like this one. And there's another really dynamic scrolling section on the About page, I think it is.
Yeah.
So I think they do a really good job of just keeping that intrigue with like the dog head to keep wanting you to find out more and going through the pages to see about their app.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go to the About page to kind of like see what you were mentioning. And the responsiveness is extremely perfect. It just like the layers doesn't bother the letters, which is like an excellent execution. And it allows you still to read. I do think that it's really cool that they for their team they present everyone in a different type of like background that it's kind of like very nature wise. It's a whole totally different vibe of the on the website, which I really appreciate as well. And
Yeah.
I do think that this website has something that is really cool, and is the attention to detail. Like once you and for the dog specifically, for example, as I'm showing here, if you scroll normally, the dog head will go with your scroll. But if you go like all the way down or up, the dog has like even dizzy eyes
Yeah.
and literally goes faster. So the responsiveness is amazing on this
Yeah.
website. I do think that they have a really good website. The responsiveness of it, the messaging of it is really nice because they use the dog to kind of like tell the message, which is kind of like give us personality. And if you love dogs like me, you will love this website definitely.
Yeah. The dog is like a pleasant surprise. It's like, okay, what does this have to do with the site? But then once you go through it, it makes total sense. You're like, okay, like this is what their company is about. They love animals. They're about wellness. So it makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense. Yes, I love the attention to detail. As I say, I automatically notice all the movements that the website has. It's very complicated to execute in a way,
Absolutely.
and it's actually a really good refresher on layers in seeing a website with a lot of layers and colors. But at the same time, letting the letters kind of like be part of the design and letting the copy not just be like a bunch of black boxes in there. It's literally the copy and everything. It's all involved in the design. So I think that Squad Easy made a really excellent job in the execution of this website, or the agency that did the website.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is. So one thing that I really wanted to mention about this website is it's in an interesting approach to a branding for me. And since I'm more in business than design, I do think that there is a lot that they're talking about and a lot that they do with the app that they have. And they talked about like we are helping companies have employee satisfaction and reducing footprint. And that's a lot to take from only one app. But one of the things that they really do is how to support companies, and they kind of like change a little bit the copy in some way in different pages. And for example, in here, they kind of like clearly tell you like our application increases engagement of your employees and reduces your carbon footprint. All of this will have you fun. And that's a really bold statement. So that's something that I really appreciate about our branding, that normally if you talk business, you think corporate and you think like regular colors, like you automatically go there, and they kind of like went all about out the box on the branding. So I do think that was really cool to see in a website and a business like this, that it's kind of like business to business type of approach.
Yeah, I love that they talk about how they also use their app, and it just
Yeah.
shows that they live the values, and they're also a sustainable company within themselves. They're not just selling this to other people; it's their passion. So I really appreciated that section as well.
Yeah, I really appreciate that section too. And just for the Easter egg on this website is that if you click on the dog starts talking to you. That's really fun. Like what? He starts telling you that they don't pay him, so difficult there with the ethics. But the dog is talking to you, so that's a really cool Easter egg. I also noticed in a couple of sections, if the dog doesn't talk to you, it kind of like eats your mouse. I
Yeah.
think like it eats your mouse. So that the cursor. So that's a really cool part of an Easter egg on the website. So I think they did a excellent and amazing job onto this website.
Yeah. It's such a nice like secondary aspect of their branding.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, oh, this is also our logo. This is how you identify us.
Yeah,
It's very
definitely.
cool.
It's really cool. They're a French company, so go check them out. Again, it's not an ad. None of these are ads, just to our viewers. But we really think that these websites are really cool and provide a really good ideas on how you can apply that to your company. And then we can go to the tour website, and I think that you have a lot to say about this website. It is really cool. I love it, and keeping it with the dogs because, well, dog lovers here, we can do anything about
Why
it.
not?
And why not? So it's the third website that we're gonna be discussing about today. It's called You Meme, and it's mainly aimed, according to their website, it is quote unquote mainly aimed at 13 and 35-year-olds, and is a state-of-the-art social network designed to deliver joy and demand and created for Web3. So specifically, they talk that they don't have like an app specifically yet because they want to go with the Web3 world of the internet instead of constructing or creating something for the current application type of standards, which is really cool to see. It's a very big goal for them to say we are creating already a social media page for Web3 when Web3 is in production. Still in that process of development is the Wild West of the internet right now. So I do think that that's really cool and very different from this company. But let us know, like, what do you love about this website, Amy?
Yeah, so this is another super fun website with great engaging scrolling effects. They do a really good job here of explaining something that can be challenging to fully understand what it is because it is such a niche thing. But they have a lot of helpful resources, and just the page in general just helps you kind of dive into that world, because what they're doing is they're doing something really different, and they're creating a whole, it kind of reminded me of like Neopets. That was the vibe I got. Where you're in this virtual world. So it seems to me that that's what they're building. I'd love to see what it actually looks like. But
Yeah.
they have a bunch of different avenues. So people can buy memes, they can share them. There was a whole marketplace. There's a gamification aspect in there. I love this little timeline that they have of what they're working on. I think that's really cool and transparent.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the one page scrolling site was a really good option for this. I think if it was multiple pages, it would kind of take away from the experience a bit. So I think that was definitely the right choice there.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a really great like way of telling it. I really love the background. For me, like the background moving, and it's just like a one take type of background. It's not that the background gets cut as the other websites that we saw. It's that literally the whole background is just like one experience, and the dog goes moving with it, and kind of like the camera focus point moves with it. It's just like very, very cool to see one website that you scroll completely down and it never changes the background. The
That's such a good
background is
point.
the same. It's like really cool, responsive design that I really think that people will appreciate. I really appreciate the design of it. And it kind of like gives you, as you said, that experience of like not losing the message. It's just like one whole storytelling instead of like cutting the information in different departments.
Yeah, totally. And like as someone who's like not really in this target audience, like I still really enjoyed this website, and this is something that I would definitely share with people who are really into memes.
Yeah, definitely. And into Web3 and into NFTs, they do have like I think that they mention also on the platform, and if you enter, they, as you mentioned, like they gamified, they have a connection with NFTs, I believe. They are trying to create memes and GIFs and makes them in a way that they can kind of like be decentralized instead of like centralized. So the whole idea of Web3, they're including it on their website and on their own platform, and including all these different things that right now are totally separated but are becoming like more of a one type of scenario. So I do think that's really interesting from this website to see, and I think we are going to see a lot about this website in the future. They're really working on it. As you said, they have a timeline. They're very clear about what they want to do. And the whole thing about being decentralized is to be honest and to give the ability to users to have their own privacy and their own terms and their own things. So I do think that the whole like aspect of the website and the company behind it, and the project behind it, it's really cool. I think I'm gonna keep looking at this website a lot to see what they do next.
Yeah, this is definitely a site you want to keep going back to see where they're at, because this is a total game changer in the industry. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, something that really just stood out to me, like content wise, is the fact that they want to give value to like meme creators, and it just shows the direction that we're going in with like valuing these digital influencers and content creators. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I do think so too. One thing about design that I really like about this website is the way of kind of having like horizontal and vertical design is the same. So if you go to like introduction, as I was doing right now, it's kind of like the parts of the website will take you down again to the same homepage. It's not that you're changing pages all the time. It just takes you to the part below, and I really think that that's something that not many people do on their websites. And I think if you have one story that is like a full storytelling approach that you want to do, this way of structuring your website might be the correct answer to it. So you don't kind of like take the information away or separate the information in some way. So I do think that that's very interesting to see that they do that, and that information is like literally vertical, and horizontal is the same type of information
I
that you're gonna
so
do.
agree. I so agree. It's such a nice refresher from the typical site with sections of different background colors, and sometimes you get that stripy effect when there's a lot of different alternating sections.
Yeah.
So this is really good, and the background is not distracting to me, even though there's a lot going on. It doesn't take away; it adds to the experience.
Yeah, definitely. And I think like the videographers and the people that love like videos will agree with me on this, is that it's the full effect of being one take, that it doesn't take you away and it's not that distracting. Yes, there's some people that will find it distracting. There's very a personal opinion. But I do agree with you on this, is that it's because it's one take, it's taking you through the information instead of like cutting you into different pieces. So I do think that that's a really cool part about this website, really cool thing about this website. And I don't think I have found any Easter egg on this one. I tried to find one. There's haven't seen one like the other two, but really great website. I love it, and I think they're gonna do really great things with this.
Yes, we need to watch this space for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think this is like literally it. Those are the websites for today. Thank you so much for having this conversation with me today, and hopefully we can have you in another episode.
Yeah, this was so fun. I'm glad we got to nerd out and look at these startups. Great.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the audience for seeing this channel, and see you in the next episode.
So
Bye.